Good afternoon, Soul Tribe. Tracy here with SweetSpot e-magazine. Thank you so very much for the likes, the shares, views, subscribes, comments, donations, everything. If y'all can, please hype this video. I appreciate it all. Let's ring the bell, clear out this energy, and then we're just going to see what the message the Spirit has for us. Sounds like somebody wants to, they're tired of not being able to be themselves or feeling that they cannot be themselves. I feel like this is someone who's ready to accept them for whomever they are. Bottom of the deck, a powerful energy shift. I feel like somebody was living not as they truly were, you know. It's like they were afraid to let themselves be completely seen, but that time is over. Now I feel like this person is counting their blessings, you know, because they're getting away from all this drama, all this glamour, intrigue. They're finding out that it's not what they feel like it was going to be. This is a time for somebody that they're going to have to be brave whenever they just stand up and tell the world, this is who I am. Like it or not, love it or not. This is somebody who was talking about other people, you know, being judgmental about them, not thinking that they lived in their own glass house. And the only reason that someone talked about another, the only reason they felt like they couldn't truly be who they truly were, is because they hadn't dealt with that heart chakra. They hadn't dealt with those childhood wounds and the things that that was put in their mind. That it was about somebody else's life, but that other person felt like they should accept and adopt what they're doing. This is somebody who wanted to have control of this person and didn't want to ever lose control. This is somebody that, you know, they looked up to, somebody that, you know, they had fond memories of, somebody that they respected. But this is also somebody, that same person they respected was also someone who was afraid to think outside of the box. That person was one of those people that was afraid to change. This is I can't make this up. It's one of those people who had a distorted view of life. So now this person is finally finding out, understanding that they need to be who they are, not who someone expects them to be. And it's okay for them to tell that other person to back off. It's your life. It's your life. What's the message? Yes. Somebody is just going through some powerful personal growth, you know, and they see the only clear solution to getting through, you know, this powerful personal energy shift. There's only one way in, and there's only one way out. It takes courage. It takes commitment. It takes honoring self. It takes believing in who you are and not caring what someone else thinks about you, because it's not their life. It never was, and it never will be. Someone has to tell this other person that to release their power. You know? And somebody is working way too hard to try and keep somebody stuck. But it's over. It's over. Someone knows that their grip, them being able to invade somebody's boundaries and have that death grip on somebody, they know it's over. They know it's over. Yes, and they think that it's a miracle. See, they thought that they had a grip on somebody. They thought that they had made this contract with someone that they was never going to figure out how to change, how to get out of it, and they was going to be able to hold on and keep this contract, over this other person forever. It's over. The curse is broken. Someone has the key, and they intend on using that. They intend on using it. Now this other person, the person who's afraid to think outside the box, the person who's afraid to let go, that person is understanding that someone is finally deciding to be who they truly want to be, who they are. And they heard that person when they told them to back off and for them to clean it up if they wanted to still be in their life. If not, they told this person they are prepared to let them go. And what scared this person that was stuck is because they said it so calmly. They know that that person means exactly what they say because the signs are already there. They know it's because of this collision of beliefs, lifestyles, attitudes, and energy. Someone knows that they no longer have a grip. They no longer have a stronghold. They are no longer living rent-free in someone else's head. What's the message, Spirit? Yeah. See? Someone was trying to talk somebody out of, they were trying to talk somebody out of healing, out of looking at a situation clearly. They wanted this person to always have this distorted view. They was always trying to, and that's what this person was doing, always trying to make sure that someone else had a distorted view too. That's why they were always trying to talk someone out of it. But this person started looking at the signs. They started recognizing certain things. And it's like then they started thinking about the people that they were around, the people that were telling them to go this way. Oh, everybody's saying to go this way. But every time, every step that they went that way, it was getting worse and worse and worse. This was when this person started their spiritual walk, started trying to connect with their ancestors, started researching and looking up what it was about, the archangels and the angels. This is whenever this person realized that, hey, it's not so much of a battle between you and them and someone else or anything. It's a spiritual battle. That's when they could recognize that this person that they had these sweet, fond memories was truly, truly not there for their best interest and was holding on way too tight, trying to control their life. That's when this person started praying to Spirit. Not just Spirit, but also their ancestors. When this person started walking on their own path, doing what they wanted to do, it's those same three people that started exhibiting signs of what comes around goes around. Especially whenever this person was determined to heal from this heartache, to heal their heart chakra. That's whenever they started seeing clearly who they were following, who they were hanging around, who they were looking up to. The more they were true to themselves, the more their eyes opened, the more their eyes opened, the more their chakras opened, the more their chakras opened, the more they started to see. The more they started to see, they really started to recognize who they were following. And when they recognized who they were following, that's when they knew for them that they needed to back off. This was an important end for this very, very important beginning. This is when this person was able to really count their blessings for seeing what they saw when they saw it. Anything else, Spirit? I guess that's it from this deck. Yeah, somebody, they decided that they was going to be true to themselves instead of letting someone else continue to invade their boundaries, violate their space. I feel like they just dominate them, control them, disrespect them. That's over. That's over. Someone said, no, that time is end, son. Yeah. Someone who was trying to keep someone in this nightmare state. And it's because they thought this other person was always going to be young. They was always just going to think young-minded, like they were never going to grow up. As long as they could keep this person thinking that, they was the outsider and they was the only, and this other person was the only one that took them under their wing and stuff like that, to try and keep them separated. That's what it was. They wanted to try and keep this person separated. That's what they do in abusive relationships. They try and control someone. But you know what? Like I said, something supernatural happened. This person started praying. I don't know if they started looking at you or started to think about what you did to get out of this mess, and they remember you praying, but they started praying. That's when they started calling God and asking for help. Yes. It's like at midnight, whenever, or the midnight, I don't know why I'm hearing the midnight calling on help for the midnight hour, but maybe this person was calling for help at the midnight hour and getting the answers that they needed from Spirit. But it's like the more they asked, the more faith they had that they was going to be out of this situation. Yep. Because they knew that if they continued to allow this person to stalk them, to prey on them, to control them, that they was gonna do something so that they was no longer around. Because they knew that this person was a hunter. This is somebody who did it relentlessly and over and over and over to other people. This is somebody who knows that other people were burnt by the sun because they got burnt by the sun. But this person is finally realizing that they have free will. And they could have gone at any moment. They did not ever have to stay there that fucking long. It don't make a difference what that other person said. Because that other person was just being a fucking monster and didn't give a shit and was trying to get it so that it was like that somebody else's last state of life. They was trying to paint the picture with everybody that they had some type of answer, that they had some type of knowledge, that they was the smart one. No, when this was just somebody who was in their devilish energy, preying on somebody and hoping that somebody always had compassion for their bullshit. Then whenever they get caught, then they want to play fucking victim. You know, they banking on somebody else to be so fucking thirsty that they take them back and they can do it all over again. Finally, God had to tell this person, you know what? What the fuck are you praying to? What are you praying about? And what the fuck are you praying for? Because, you know what? You allowing somebody to continue to do you wrong who ain't ever going to do you right, but yet you expect some of their shit to change. Spirit said, no, you got to ask me to change your ass. How you feel about a certain situation, not how they coming to you, because they ain't never going to stop. Spirit had to let somebody know it's because of that person, how they feel inside about themselves and what they see that this person has. This person may be naturally beautiful or naturally smart or naturally funny or whatever. And the other person don't have none of that and they're jealous. So that's why they want to try and sacrifice somebody. But yet they expect that, you know, they can do somebody so wrong, and the person they're doing wrong is supposed to be, oh well, I don't want to be, you know, looked at as not being the nice guy. Fuck that. What's the message, Spirit? Thank you. Yep, somebody needed to realize that they was never, ever going to be able to control or the other person who had this monster side to them, they was never going to be able to control that. They was always going to try and take somebody out. They was always going to try and take somebody else's light. And every time that somebody tries to come back, they try and come back and do the same thing again, but it's like they come back with sex. Somebody needs to just realize and learn to say fucking no. Learn to say no. You know? And people are hoping that you say no. People are hoping that you finally get a fucking clue and say no this time. Turn the wheel in a different direction. Take the car in a different direction. Yes. Because you know what? Everybody knows that the reason that you keep going back is because of the sex. What the fuck? And this is where somebody gets you. You know, maybe because you're so prim and proper, or you don't know how to spice it up, and this other person is so fucking nasty. You know? And that's what's keeping this person stuck. Come on now. Come on. Oh, and then this other person don't want them to give it to somebody else. Let them give it to somebody else. Let them do it. Shit. Get rid of that shit. If that's what's keeping you and your ass stuck, get rid of it. Every time you do it, picture it as the devil's tail sticking up in you, okay? Come on now. The devil's tail. That should be enough. Ugh. What's the message? End this nightmare. End it. Yeah. Somebody needs to ask for, they need to learn how to protect themselves psychically. That's what they need, is some psychic protection. Do a YouTube video or something. I'm telling you, because somebody, they think that you're young. They think that you don't know any better. They don't know that you know better, that you know who you are too. You are nobility. It's high time that you remember that. And if you didn't know it, it's high time that you know it. Anything else? Yeah, something about your commandments or your religion, or maybe the way that you was looking at things, or this group that you belong to, you know, or this promise that you made. You had made somebody a promise, but you just didn't know the same person that you made the promise to was the one who's going to try and do you wrong. That's why your ass was calling for help. So it's time to break that promise. Okay? It is time to break that promise and just ask for forgiveness to God, that, you know what, I know I gave my word, but you know what, this shit is important. This is my life somebody's trying to take. Break that fucking promise. Okay? Call out to God. Have faith. Have faith that God's going to protect you from this anti-hero that's just trying to take you out, all because of jealousy. All because of jealousy. I'm telling you, somebody is green with envy. This could be somebody standing outside your window looking, your door, spying on you. You know? This is somebody who they're trying to create a situation. They're trying to create a situation so that it is your last day in your life. So I would stay away from somebody. I'm telling you, somebody wants to do you wrong. They want to do you wrong, and it's almost like it's what their goal is. It's what their dream is to do you wrong, to do you dirty. And they think they're going to be able to, because they feel like you would never know that what they was going to try and do, because you was just so loving, forgiving, and kind and gentle, and that you would have compassion. It's just within you to have compassion for this person, and you would never like call the cops or nothing like that, and nobody else would tell. Nobody else is going to tell. This is something that they feel like they would just be able to keep their little secret, by peer pressure, and they would be able to keep their little secret by peer pressure, and because the other people knew that if they said something, that death would come to them too. And this person act like they so crazy, like, give me a reason to do something, like they got all this knowledge and shit like that. But they don't. They don't. They just trying to create the illusion to keep somebody stuck in a nightmare. Anything else? Anything else? Alright. Yep, somebody, okay. Spirit said, call for help. You're not stuck in the past. The past is not a prison. If you need some help, whatever the help it is that you need, call on it. Call on it. Because I'm telling you, somebody is trying to seduce you, trying to get you somewhere, trying to invite you somewhere, trying to entice you somewhere so they can sacrifice you. This is just something that they had planned to do. But you know what? You let them know, oh, you know what? the plan has changed. You decided that you don't want to do this. You know, this way, it's almost like this person, it's almost like you connecting deep within your instincts, you know, and yeah, you keep connecting deep within with your instincts and knowing that you need to do something different. You need to save yourself. You know, let this person know that, you know, you're good. You're good. You don't need them. You can be kind to them. You can still be noble, but by you saving yourself, doing your own thing, you're letting this person know that actually you're not that thirsty. Not at all. Not so thirsty that you're going to put yourself in a position for them to be able to do whatever they want. You're not that thirsty. And now this person knows that you call for help. Now they're going to want for you to forgive them. But I'm going to tell you something. You tell them, oh yeah, okay, no problem. They'll do it again. They will do it again and again and again and again and again for as long as you are alive. For as long as you are alive, it's going to be this person's hope and plan and dream to take you down. The reason is you have this magical inheritance, and people see this. That's why this person preys on you. So, all right, y'all. Thank you so very much. If you can, please hype my videos. I'd appreciate it. And I'll see you on the live.